Ravens, fuck Ravens Nation, fuck Nation. I'm fucking pumped right now, man. I just want to tell y'all that right now, right? Okay? Tanja Bowman, I can't respond to your comments. I don't know what's that about still, but I seen your comment. But hopefully I touch on it in some of these discussions I'm about to have right now. So I took my time and looked back at the 2010 season of the Ravens. The only reason I went back that far, I don't know how I fell into the rabbit hole, but I was just, an observation of what previously happened. Like, was it really... Is our expectations way too high? Are they too low? Are we doing something that's not really true to who we are? And I had to sit back and look at, and long story short, it followed me to a point where I'm sitting there looking, and I was like, oh shit, I fucking forgot Derek Mason was that's what it was. Derek Mason. I was trying to see when the last time we did a wide receiver pass, and I swore Derek Mason was the one passing it, but he was the one that called it because it was from Mark Clayton. And even then, it was a one pitch reverse. Flacco snapped the ball, gave it to Clayton, who was running behind him. Clayton stood there. He ran, but he stood there and threw it. They did this shit with Prochet so fucking stupid. You know what I'm saying? The defense didn't even... Yeah, they went one way, but then they didn't even have to move no more because it was still on that same side of the field. That made no sense, yo. So I'm not blaming Prochet on that one. That was fucking stupid. But long story short, right? I said, you know what? Damn, that's crazy. We all know Lamar doesn't have the star elite wide receiver, whatever the case may be. But I wasn't against the approach of it just because it was something different. And not to mention, I wasn't fucking with Miles Boykins. I never thought he was a great draft pick, ever. And then I was optimistic with Duvernay. I was optimistic with Prochet. So it was like, all right, I ain't mad at it. Maybe they seeing stuff every day. And then we kept seeing it in the camps. They was doing their thing, so I wasn't mad at it. Let's just see how it play out. Being as though it's not playing out too well, I had much reason to go back into the Ravens history and just really had to observe what the fuck then took place previous years. What was going on when Joe Flacco was here? Now I know Joe Flacco had Derek Mason, but I didn't know. I knew, but you don't get to rewatch that whole time frame unless you just remember the shit. But I completely forgot. Derek Mason was there before Joe. Derek Mason was there when Kyle Bowler was still there. Like, they don't talk about that. Not many people talk about that. I done forgot about that. So that's what I'm saying. I went back in the vault and sat there and was looking. I'm like, oh, okay. So I can't even put that argument out there to say Ravens paid for Derek Mason before they paid Flacco, because essentially Kyle Bowler never got a contract. Steve McNair, rest his soul, ended up dying. You know what I'm saying? And then that whole time frame, Derek Mason was there at some point. You know what I mean? So then when Flacco came there in 2008, it just was a good transition. But Lamar didn't have that luxury. Lamar did not have that luxury. We all know that. The fucked up part was they drafted a tight end before Lamar, so I never understood that aspect about it. And then let the tight end go not too much after Lamar. Now, most people should know that number one pick that was Hayden Hurst was simply for Flacco. It was never to invest into Lamar, and I wholeheartedly still got an issue with John over that still. Not because of the draft pick, of course of the draft pick, but also just for him not investing into Lamar when he had the opportunity to. And then we missed the window because when I seen trying to match up the time frame, I seen that Flacco by 2010 had both Derek Mason and Anquan Bolden on the same team, and TJ Husman-Jada, and what's that boy name? Todd Heat, and Ray Rice, and Willis McGahee, and a top-notch defense. Now, I fuck with Ray Rice. Not even just Ray Rice, I'm sorry, because he remind me of Ray Rice. I fuck with JK. He reminds me a lot of Ray Rice. A little more injury prone than Ray Rice, but I fuck with him. So I can understand that aspect. Gus the Bus, I fuck with him. He don't fumble as much as Willis McGahee did, but he did have that fumble recently that fucked us up. So, okay, I ain't gonna say Lamar don't have the running backs that he should. He should have them at his disposal, but they be hurt. Or they, you know what I'm saying? So, all right, asterisk behind it. But when we transition over to the wide receiver situation, 2 years into his NFL career, Joe Flacco had two top-notch wide receivers that were essentially number one wide receivers on their other team, on previous teams before they got to the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? So Lamar has never had that. You could say Crabtree at one point, but Crabtree was not that fucking good. This is the same motherfucker that sat there and said from, what was his name? Richard Sherman. He called this nigga a sorry-ass wide receiver, and we go and sign this nigga. One of the top-notch corners at a certain point in time in the NFL called another wide receiver sorry-ass wide receiver. And we picked this motherfucker up. So I never understood that one. I'm trying to think who else was beyond that. Seth Roberts, I never heard that dude for real, other than when we picked him up. So I can't even say he was a good wide receiver, a number one wide receiver prior to where he came from. None of that shit. I'm trying to think, go down the line. Everybody feels like Mark Andrews is good. Mark Andrews is not clutch. Yes, he put up big numbers in franchise history, but guess what? He could not fuck with Todd Heat, bro. The Todd Heat 2010 season alone, bro. I'm sat there and watched a lot of them fucking games, dog. That season alone showed me how much more clutch he was than fucking Andrews. Andrews is nowhere near fucking Todd Heat great as far as hands go, as far as making plays go. I have yet to see Mark Andrews get a 40-plus yard pass and take it to the house. 30-yard pass, take it to the house. 50-yard pass, take it to the house. This nigga's slow as shit. So I'm not a big fan of Andrews. I fuck with Andrews. It's nothing personal. He's cool. I ain't got no personal issue against him, but I'm talking about on the field, in between the lines. Andrews is not better than fucking Todd Heat, bro. Ever was, ever will be, none of that. I'm sorry, bro. Until I see something where you really help us out in a playoff atmosphere or something like that, then we could talk. But until then, you're not better than Todd Heat, bro. But back to the wide receiver situation. It's just crazy, though, how much help Flacco had. And it's not to say Flacco looked like how he should have with that type of help. Okay? Carson Palmer had Chad Johnson and Terrell Owens on the same team, and they didn't do shit. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I always understand that just because you got top-notch wide receivers on your team does not mean the quarterback is all of a sudden just going to leap to stardom. You know what I'm saying? So this is a unique situation to dissect in regards to Lamar, because obviously on one hand you could sit there and say, yo, you're not giving him help. He's not being able to flourish. That's a bargaining tool when you go into negotiations, I would assume. But then on the other hand, when you sit there and look at it, you're like, well, look what he's doing when he look what he does with the bare minimum that he has. That's promising. From my point of view, if I was an owner, that's promising to see, being as though I wasn't able to get you help like I know damn well Flacco had. I know fucking well. You know how many balls Joe was throwing the fuck up, just like You feel what I'm saying? Because he knew Anquan or Derek Mason was going to make a play, at bare minimum, bat out the other person's hands. And there's no disrespect to Prochet. There's no disrespect to Duvernay. There's no disrespect to Bateman. There's no disrespect to DeMarcus Robinson. But y'all ain't on neither one of them two wide receivers level. Derek Mason and Anquan. Nowhere near. So my thing is, yes, we can get on Lamar for his passes that aren't always on point. When I seen we was up in the draft before the Hayden Hurst pick, I had all belief that we was going to draft Lamar. So much so, I went to go see who was better with accuracy, not just that, but accurate in college. Lamar was like with them in top 10. And there's no disrespect to Lamar, but I've got a point on why I'm saying this too. When I checked it out, Baker was the number one quarterback in college that was the most accurate quarterback in college, literally, numbers wise, statistics wise. You know what I'm saying? Look where Baker is in his situation now. There's no disrespect to Baker. You know, that's fucked up situation. But I'm just saying, look at how much that didn't matter. You know what I mean? So you can't sit there and just be upset at Lamar for passes that aren't always on point, because most quarterbacks have wide receivers that make that go away. Most of them. You know what I'm saying? Most of them. Now, of course, we have to pay Lamar. But again, I have to go back and look at previous situations and show where they fucked up. Ravens fucked up. If you wasn't going to pay Judon, you should have never paid Stanley. I get all that shit about offensive line, but you can always get a fucking serviceable lineman. Always. It's not like they're fucking wide receivers, yo. It's not. I'm sorry. You can always find a big dude that can grab somebody by the fucking jersey and keep them in front of them. It's not hard. You know? So you paid that motherfucker all that money who wasn't designed for Lamar's skill set. That's the mentality y'all should have had. Everything that we do from the time that we draft Lamar should be geared towards Lamar. Nobody should get a contract unless it's Lamar. If y'all really felt like this dude was the next Jordan of the NFL, we didn't need none of that energy that was from previous seasons unless it was a wide receiver. But at that point, we had no top wide receivers. The last top wide receiver that I remember was fucking Kamar Aiken. Like, Kamar Aiken was getting 137 targets in one season. I don't even know where he came from. And we was dubbing him Baby Bolden. We was that desperate. I don't think it's that situation right now, but we got, a special element to this, because we got Tyler Huntley, who is, whether we want to believe it or not, a carbon copy, if you will, what's a good comparison? You know, sometimes you got the actual brand, and then sometimes you got the store brand. I'm not going to sit there and disrespect Tyler and say, dismiss him because saying he's store brand, okay, and Lamar is the regular brand, because sometimes the regular brand don't be always right all the time. Sometimes you get the off-brand ibuprofen, it's just as good as the Motrin. Sometimes you get I'm near Kroger right now, so I fuck with Kroger because they got these chocolate chip oatmeal cookies. I fuck with them Jones, man. But they store brand. I don't know anybody else that sell them Jones. It's just Kroger. Store brand. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying all that to say this. Just because Huntley ain't Lamar don't mean he ain't special. He's still great. He in his own way. I ain't gonna say he's greater than. I'm gonna say he's less than, but he's still really good in his own way, yo. So I'm not discrediting Huntley and what his possibilities and what he can do, but I also wanted to make note. I seen way different energy from John, even in from 2008 to 2010, 2011 to 2012. Y'all can remember that for yourself. But I'm just saying that the hidden time frame where they don't show too much in media and all that shit, right? John was very energetic, very, very. When calls was not going our way, this motherfucker was livid. John was that fire and that passion that you wanted from your fucking coach to have your fucking back. He's turning into a shell of himself, yo. And whether it's because he ain't doing right by Lamar, whether it's because he ain't doing right by the franchise, whether it's because his signings as far as coaching has been shitty, it's affecting him, and he either needs to step down or make the right decisions that need to be made. Because John, you don't look yourself, bro, and I'm speaking to you man to man, dog. We can see that shit, man. We can see that shit, dog. It's all right. Life happens to people, yo. But you don't gotta sit here and take us down with you, man. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. You done already said Roman was getting plays out slow as shit. The fucked up part, you said this shit already a couple seasons ago when we still had Lamar. Why the fuck are you saying it now like to make matters worse, you saying like he apologizing? Nigga, it's been happening more than once. There's no apology needed. His ass needs to go. His ass needs to fucking go, dog. You would have not allowed it. I've been said this a long time ago. You would have not allowed this shit if it was fucking Flacco, dog. That's my fucking issue with you, John. That's my main fucking issue with you, yo. And you too, EDC, because you sat there and watched this shit all down. You got no problem talking about it. Well, I've been around Ozzy. I've been around Ozzy for a long time now. I've been in the inner workings. Well, how the fuck can you sit there and sweep under the carpet what the fuck is going on with John and his fucking signings with his coaches, yo? We're fucking trash in the coaching department, yo. We get up coach every fucking time, yo. Every fucking time. We crumble in the biggest of fucking moments. Even in the 2010 season, it's crazy to say, but fucking Anquan Boldin and TJ Houshmandzadeh both crumbled in the fucking AFC Championship. What? I don't know why. I don't know why. When I was watching the game, I'm like, how the fuck did we lose? How the fuck did we lose this game? A couple minutes later, now I see why. Joe threw the ball right on the fucking money. Just how Lamar did recently. Right on the fucking money. Motherfucker drops it. Right in the hands. Andrews. Right in the fucking hands. Oliver. John, I think it's you. I think it's you. Grab all your friends, grab all your buddies, because y'all not helping us at this point. You know, I think y'all have taken this Ravens franchise as far as y'all can go, but it's obvious all these blunders and mistakes that have been happening since you've been with the team. It's inevitable that you got some part in this. You're the only one that's been on this team this long, and we still seeing hints of the same things from over 10 seasons, 12 seasons ago. I'm not saying all hope is lost just involving the players, but again, it's just it does trip me out a little bit, knowing again Joe Flacco had Anquan Boldin and Derek Mason on the field at the same time for a whole fucking season, and then on top of it, at that same juncture, now granted it was fucking Houshmandzadeh, but Anquan Boldin dropped a pass right in the fucking end zone. It hit him right in his fucking chest. Dropped it. And then they called back a TD, a special teams TD from Ladarius Webb. That was bullshit. They still be getting us on some shit like that by refs. You know, they robbed us of the touchdown when they allowed the motherfucker to say he got in with a fucking shin, and everybody blamed Peters, but that was a bullshit call. And then TJ Houshmandzadeh dropped a fucking pass straight in his fucking chest from Joe last couple minutes with like a minute left on the clock, fourth quarter, for the first down, dropped it. So I don't know whether a number one wide receiver really matters, or having a wide receiver that you can trust and rely to make that play in the biggest of moments matters. I'm so serious, y'all. EDC, you're not a good GM. I'm sorry. With respect to the draft picks that you done already gave us, we chose Jordan Stout and Charlie Kohler when we could have had old boy from the Steelers. You know, Biscotti, you've been expressed. You don't care about the money. You know, you're gonna do away with it at some point. You know, you're pretty much carefree about your life at this point. I think it's time you hand over ownership to somebody else that really cares about the team, because you obviously don't. If that's the case, that you feel that way, it should be no issue with giving Lamar whatever he's asking for if you're going to leave eventually. I say make Ozzie the owner. I think John needs to remove himself and move on to Michigan, somewhere that's going to love him and embrace him, and he don't have to, deal with so much stress on the job. But I think, again, still it's going to be a tough, close game for us Sunday. I'm not expecting too much, but I need JK to get back out there. I don't know, y'all. I'm still trying to understand it, but I'm gonna holler at y'all on the next one, man. Ravens Flock, Ravens Nation, man. Flock Nation. Protect yourselves, protect your energy, man. I'm out.